freaking first cut. Golly. Hello, YouTube. It's moving day in Wilmington, and it's created a spicy leaderboard. We're going to break it all down and look forward to the final round. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll jump into it right now. Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman. That right there, Mark Immelman. Mark, good to see you.
Actually, I should do the Cal Porter. You see, I've got the finger, and I'm going to fiddle with my mic the whole show. Yeah, my pod mic in front of me. What's up, Rick? Enjoying Philly?
Yes, we are. We're very much enjoying it. Very much enjoying the course, and it's been fun. Yeah, no complaints from us.
It's a good spot, man. It's so pretty. The just the environment, the area, the terrain of the golf course. It's awesome. I was there late last year, and it's a lovely spot, and it's been a good tournament so far from our point of view. I'm sure you've enjoyed it.
I meant to tell you, I did see a handful of First Cut Pod shirts out there, which was nice to see out on the golf course. So a little support for the pod out here in Wilmington.
That's awesome. And I'm sure your legion of fans showed up en masse to see you too, right? I saw you were advertising you were on 17 Green. Did they show up there and give you love?
Free. Yes, just shaking hands and kissing babies as I generally do at these golf tournaments.
The mayor of Philly, there he is.
I've got big news, Mark, and this is also important news for you. So our friends over at Fantasy Football Today, they're doing their annual draft-a-thon where you can bid on different things, all going to a great cause, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and we've actually been able to get an item in there, Mark, and you can now bid to join our First Cut One and Done League next year. Not the fan. You are in yourself. You choose your own picks. You can tell Kyle Porter to pound sand. They can try to battle straight up against you, Mark. It is live. You can pay or bid for a spot in our First Cut One and Done.
Are they going to want to come in there and get beaten up pretty badly? I mean, is someone going to want to bid on that sort of stuff? Come on, that's my tease. Let's do it. Come on, let's bid, folks. Let's go.
All the money goes to a great cause. Starting bid $100. So you can go in and check out the link that's in the description. There's a bunch of other stuff in there as well, right? Like there's you can Zoom call with the guys from Fantasy Football Today, get some info and some advice before your fantasy football draft. There's just a lot of good stuff going on over there. We obviously have this package in there. And Jacob, throw up that graphic one more time because there's a QR code. There you go. You can QR code that you can scan and bid to get into our one and done, which is a really cool idea. So I'm looking forward to seeing how much we can raise. And Mark, they have to act fast. I think it's only like 2.5 days. So you got to get on this right now.
Come on, fans. You can get your own pick. You don't have to wait for Elijah. You can do your thing. You can get involved. Hey, there's money if you're involved in our thing. So do it. Go and donate. Maybe you can win your money back. Maybe you won't. Who knows? We'll see.
It'll be a blast either way. Okay, top of the leaderboard. Patrick Cantlay entered the week, Mark, 7th in the FedEx Cup standings. He went out and fired, let's see here. I want to get this right. A 6 under 65, which arguably could have been a little bit better, right? He missed a 3-footer late in his round. He actually missed 3 different putts inside of 5 feet today, but he is going to hold the lead going into the final round at the BMW Championship.
What he went and did was shoot or tied for the low round of the day, playing in the afternoon. And we've seen here for 2 days straight where in the morning, the golf course holds a little moisture. These greens are doable. The rough is not as punitive as one would think. And the fairways, more than anything, are receptive. So the balls stay in these fast fairways because most folks, watching this or listening to this, a lot of you you'd like to just putt on these fairways. They're that good. They bend grass. But then in the afternoon, when the place dries out, humidity is lowish, it just gets so firm, so fast, and the greens get so crispy. It gets hard. And to shoot 65 under those conditions was some serious playing because we covered John Rahm in the morning, and he shot 65 on a softer golf course. Denny McCarthy went out and did the same thing, or maybe 66. Those were early. What Cantlay did this afternoon was special, and this is the kind of guy he is, a major sort of a contender, and he showed off not just his skill but his acumen today.
Yeah, he and Xander Schauffele paired up together. Were just feeding off each other for much of the day. Both had great rounds. I want to get this Justin Ray note in here, Mark, because it's not every day that Patrick Cantlay misses a 3-footer, which is what he did on 17. He was 523 for 524. So one miss in 524 efforts from 3 feet and in this season. So very rare occurrence we saw on Saturday at Wilmington Country Club.
Yeah, and he commented on that because Doug Ferguson, we got the sound. We were wrapping up our show, the main feed on ESPN Plus, and Doug Ferguson writes for the AP, and he's got a good relationship with players, and he was ripping on Xander a bit, and so he says to Cantlay, he goes, "So what's the story there? Was that just a bad putt or whatever?" And he goes, "No, the greens were kind of a bit ragged at the end of the day, and maybe it wasn't my best stroke ever, but it's okay." And he just seemed like he was so okay with it. And when we wrapped the interview afterwards, my host asked me, "So what's your take?" And they started showing numbers. And I'm like, my take is everything you heard from this guy over here. He's not phased whatsoever. He's doing the right things. Yeah, the numbers physically are great. He's driving the ball fine. The iron game is on point. But we said so after Detroit. Remember on this very show, I said, look, I've watched him play. He's swinging beautifully and he's putting well. So he just seems like he's a real comfortable place now. And when Cantlay is there, look, he's a force. He's a fabulous golfer.
Speaking of numbers, I want to look at the live odds. Patrick Cantlay is our favorite to win the BMW Championship with 18 holes to go. I'll loop in the rest of the Chase Pack in that conversation. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners. And we're back. Mark, looking at the rest of this leaderboard, it's no reprieve for Patrick Cantlay at the top. Just one shot back is buddy Xander Schauffele and Scott Stallings. 2 shots back is Adam Scott and Scotty.
Looks like Rick just
Have we
dropped
lost
out
Rick?
there. I think we've lost Rick. I can
All
pull up
right.
the odds real quick here, and you can tell me what you're.
Pull up those odds, and I'll fill for a little while until our.
Oh, there we go. We got Rick.
Rick.
Okay,
Rick, you can stay away, big eye. I had it. We were all covered. Yeah, don't stress.
I'm sure you do. You don't need me one single bit. I just make the show longer. That's what I do.
So you were saying before you so rudely left us.
Yes. Patrick Cantlay, 1-shot lead over Xander and Scott Stallings, 2 shots clear of Adam Scott and Scotty Scheffler. So when you compare that to the odds board, Patrick Cantlay is plus 220, Xander is plus 350, Scotty Scheffler is 5-1, Scott Stallings is 8-1, and Adam Scott not getting much love from the homies over at Caesars. That's 10-1 there, Mark. But not going to be easy for any one of these guys to get it done. It's going to have to be earned on Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be earned. And I was asked the question, so how far down the leaderboard do you go? And I was like, honestly, I would dip to the 7s because those 7s will be out a little earlier. The golf course, the first few holes give you a bit of a start. We've seen a few guys 4 and 5 under through 8 and 9 holes, and we've seen 29 shoot in the front 9 by Keegan Bradley. Rahm had 30 today. So those guys down the leaderboard, some can get busy and put some pressure on the leaders. And remember, I always talk about the chaser's freedom. I feel like that's going to be a thing around here because the last few holes, like from the par 5, the 14th, that's reachable. So it's a birdie look. 15 is just mean, the par 3. But 16, 17, 18, if you put the ball in play off the tee, you've got scoring clubs in there. So you can finish with a bit of a flourish. But by the same token, this golf course is so well set up and so fair that if you hit a shot into a poor position, like we saw Jordan Spieth do something silly today, if you're not making the smart decision, it can trip you up quickly. So I don't think anything's guaranteed right now. I will tell you that Cantlay is strong looking, but I think I also referenced when I had him and Scott Stallings in the final round in Detroit. And I mentioned on the show, I believe that Scott Stallings looks good right now. And he's enterprising to me at plus 750. And I had picked Adam Scott this week. I'm gonna beat that drum. I'm sticking with Scotty. Apart from a short miss for birdie on 17, that save on 18 was massive that he made. I mean, that was huge. And he's playing with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, and that's why I liked him this week. Look, his game is sound, and he's putting beautifully. But he said that he wants to prove to my brother that he doesn't want Trevor to have to waste a pick on him for the President's Cup. And he's come out here and he has just flashed old style Adam from the word go. And he played alongside Keegan for the first 2 rounds and just kind of sat in his slipstream, then accelerated. And today, bar that short miss on 17, I thought it was a sound day. So Cantlay, look, you got to beat him. But I'm looking down the board at both Stallings and Adam Scott.
65 was the round of the day. Patrick Cantlay shot it. Colin Morikawa shot it. Brendan Steele shot it. And Mark, maybe your favorite 65 of the day came from John Rahm, who moved up 35 spots on the leaderboard. Your one and done selection. Now trying to get you a couple $100,000, trying to get you some cash this week.
You know what? I started copping grief. I made the mistake of looking at Twitter during our show. All right. It was during a break. And so I look at Twitter and I see some guy, one of the fans, he's like, yeah, someone's going low, Joaquin Neiman, our pick. Someone's going bad, John Rahm, Mark's pick, big X next to it. And so I'm like, okay, here we go. And Rahm starts getting busy and shoots 30 on the front. So I couldn't resist. And I went there and I found a picture of John Rahm, a meme or a GIF or whatever it was. And I just responded with John Rahm going, okay, with like a face like, whoa, you guys are counting me out. Yeah, he looked good today. And the way he spoke afterwards, it's like he found what John Rahm had been missing. And remember, I'd said to you, I wasn't so keen on the way he was driving it. Well, his driving numbers this week are off the charts, but he was leaving strokes out there because he wasn't making putts. And the more he missed, the more ratty he got. But then he got on a run, and we saw smiles, and we saw him going after stuff. And 65, I think, bodes well because I'm expecting more out of Rahm tomorrow because he sort of unlocked the thing a little bit to me.
I found the tweet. Matthew, you can't start victory lapping on Saturday. That puts the reverse jinx on everything. Just wait till Sunday night. Come on.
Yeah, Matthew, you guys are trying so hard. I mean, keep trying. I'm keen to pick because, look, they've blown their load already in, how many months? 7-8 months? Do they have anyone left for the Tour Championship? I've got that guy who's just cruising for 7 under this week.
2 news nuggets coming out of Saturday. A bizarre moment on 15 where, I mean, this is a phrase I'll never say, Mark. A fan with a remote-controlled golf ball was attempting to control that ball into the cup at 15 while Rory McIlroy plays defense with his putter. Pretty good, by the way. Pretty good defense by Rory there. And then Rory ends up picking it up, Mark, and overhand throwing it into the water, into the lake. I cannot believe I'm describing this real life scenario that happened today.
Rory just lost a fan.
Well, at the risk, I mean, that's fine. He probably picked up some more.
At the risk of me losing fans, I was the guy the last time this event was at Aronimink, which obviously is in Philadelphia. Yeah, you got some pictures of Rory's trying to knock it away there.
On YouTube.
Yeah. And he finally just goes, I've had enough. And he picks it up and just hurtles it into the water. I'm the guy at the risk of losing more fans in Philly. Aronimink, it was right at the start, this event of football, the NFL season. And the opening game was Philly, Atlanta in Philadelphia. So this guy wore a Falcons cap to work. And I remember interviewing Rory in the morning before we went out. I was still on radio, and he goes, Mark, that's brave. And I got called every sort of a thing I could ever begin to imagine. And my mom, my goodness, stuff was said about my mother. I was like, wow. But anyway, it was a bit silly by some of the fans over there. I understand the giggle of it, but there's a time and a place. And when you do that early, don't go and do it when the leaders are coming through because stuff means a lot and they're playing for a bunch and you don't want to detract from their focus, if you will.
Yeah, and I suppose the serious part of it is this guy's inside the ropes, one step off the green, and security is a little slow to figure it all out. Eventually they do and remove him from the scene. The other nugget, Mark, is Will Zalatoris withdrew on Saturday with a back injury. Now, this is not only important because there's still an event to go. We want to see Will Zalatoris healthy, but remember, he's number 1 in the FedEx Cup standings as of this moment. He will not be when we get to East Lake, but A statement from his manager, Alan Hobbs, said in part that Will tweaked his lower back during a shot on the third hole today. He would try to get some treatment on it. The pain didn't go away. He decided it would be better off to remove himself from the event, get a little extra time to make sure he's right for Atlanta.
Yeah, three things. First off, as you always hear me say, my worst fear for all of these guys is injury, and especially injury at a bad time of the year, like this event, the playoffs, major championship, that sort of thing, the players. So that's number one. Number two, the torque he puts on his back through contact, because not only does he rotate open hard, but he rotates open on some side bend. And he's tweaked this side of his body before. Remember back at the Open Championship where he was in that heavy fescue and he got tilted and the club hooked up and he had to pull out a little bit. So it clearly now looks like an area that is tender for him because of the style of golf swing. And then, look, there are mathematical ramifications that could work out where he could still go into Eastlake as the number one seed. It's possible. It's improbable, but it is possible. With Scotty sort of spending strokes late, it looked like it could be possible. But of course, then Scotty makes that closing birdie, which was huge. And Cantlay, when I last checked, was projecting number one. So, look, I don't think that Will's going to fall too far down the list. I think it'll be 2 or 3 strokes back of the lead, maybe 4. But, we've seen guys come back from that before. It's if you go into Eastlake and you're down the list at like 26 or 27 and you even par, it's hard to spot Will Zalatoris or Patrick Cantlay or someone 10 strokes. That's just that's a tough road to hoe.
As of this moment, with the 3 rounds in the books, Patrick Cantlay would be number 1. Scotty Scheffler would be number 2. Will Zalatoris number 3. So obviously that can shake around on Sunday. So we'll figure that all out on our recap pod. Okay, Mark, I think that'll do it. I think we've covered everything. Anything else I missed?
No, go and say hello and shake some hands with your constituents there in Philadelphia. I'm sure they're longing to see you.
Yes, that's where I'm headed right now. All right. Big thanks to producer Jacob, does all the hard work behind the scenes. Mark Immelman, available online at Mark_Immelman. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.